The night of September 20th was the time that I got the Galaxy Z Fold 3, unboxed it, transferred all my stuff from the Galaxy S21 Ultra, and I never looked back into using a flat phone once again. So in my 2 months plus of using the Galaxy Z Fold 3, I experienced a lot of stuff. I went through adaptation, discovery, some issues, and also growing pains with the Galaxy Z Fold 3. So allow me to share my experience with you here today. So I gotta say outright that I reviewed both the previous generations of the Galaxy Z Fold series, and I would still say the Galaxy Z Fold 3 is the first one that I'll consider to be mature enough to daily drive. The IP rating was unexpected, and the S Pen compatibility just sealed the deal for me. Plus, an even lower price than its predecessors was just really sweetening up the deal even more for me, to the point where I can get diabetes. So I got my hands on the Phantom Green color of the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and I immediately realized that the greenness of the Phantom Green isn't exactly green. Not like Kirby's green by the way. As mentioned before, I migrated everything from the Galaxy S21 Ultra to the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and I used Samsung Smart Switch to carry all my settings and files over to this phone. And just as a quick note, I've been using Smart Switch for a very long time, since I used the Galaxy S9, S10, Note 20, and also the Galaxy S21 Ultra, and then now with the Galaxy Z Fold 3. Anyway, I knew that the Samsung Smart Switch is not gonna be a seamless transition because of the device's form factor that is completely different from a traditional slab smartphone like this. So I head into the settings menu and re-explore all of the features available that are exclusive to the Galaxy Z Fold 3. I took a few weeks time back and forth going in and out into the settings menu and did a lot of fine-tuning until I'm happy with the settings. One feature that I think many people will need to take some time to look and explore is in the Labs menu under Advanced Features. Many of these experimental features are only applicable to the Galaxy Z Fold 3 when it is unfolded, like custom aspect ratio for apps, and then app split view and also flex mode. Personally, I only use these experimental features on apps that do not work with the Fold specific features. For example, do you know that you can open the apps on two sides of the phone, so you can have a split in the middle there? Like, for example, I wanna open Lazada and Shopee at the same time so I can compare prices when I do shopping. And that's just convenient, right? Since you have such a big screen, use both of them. However, it turns out that Shopee doesn't support this feature. So we gotta head into the Labs menu and then enable multi-window for all apps feature, and then Shopee will work in that feature. Kind of. The UI is still buggy and everything is kind of misplaced, but at least I can compare prices between Lazada and Shopee, which is what I wanted to do in the first place. And by the way, one new feature with One UI 3.1 is the screen layout. Out of the box, it's using multi-view screen layout, which is actually, it just means tablet layout. I know this because Gboard changes keyboard layout into the tablet UI when it is unfolded, but then when you fold it and use the cover display, it changes to the traditional phone layout. Unfortunately, there's no way to configure this viewing mode in the per app level, so that is the one growing pain that I have to live with for now. By the way, Bixby routines have also become one of my favorite features in Samsung One UI recently because it can do a few tasks that I always do automatically. For example, right now, if I fold it halfway, I set it to auto-rotate so I can rotate my wallpaper like this. Oh yeah, there's a bit of delay, and then when I open it completely, it will lock into landscape mode, portrait mode, not landscape mode. And then I also set it to automatically go into landscape mode when I open YouTube, so that is also one feature that is done using the Bixby routines. I also have some other automation. For example, whenever this phone is paired with the car's Bluetooth system, then it will automatically play a music from my Spotify playlist. Those are just so convenient to the point where I would think Bixby routines is just one of the best features available now. I actually find myself utilizing the cover display quite a lot. So yes, I do think that the cover display is quite lanky, since everything is squished and then it's just really long. You can see here all the screenshots of mine look weird as they are just extremely long and all of the text got weirdly warped around. So yeah, it's just a few things that I have to live with when I'm using the cover display too. In terms of functionality, I can quickly get things done by just looking at this cover display, and then I can do some quick messaging replies and whatnot, and then when I want to do some serious work, just unfold it into a much larger display and continue my work there. Now, I do have a confession to make though. I'm not much of a tablet guy, and personally, I tried to use a tablet before, but unfortunately, I just don't find myself picking up a tablet to use purposefully because transitioning my work from a phone to a tablet is quite a hassle to me. And yet, the Galaxy Z Fold 3 solved that in a very simple way, just unfold it into a larger display. Seriously, I have never picked up any other Android tablets, or Apple tablets for that matter, since I got my hands on the Galaxy Z Fold 3. But because of the duality of a machine that can morph between a phone or a tablet, the battery life, 4400 mAh battery, is heavily not enough for me, I would say. I was using the Galaxy S21 Ultra and I usually end up in about 45-ish% of battery left, which roughly translates to 2250 mAh. Translating that capacity to the Galaxy Z Fold 3, I should have about 50% battery left, right? But that's not the case. I presume that that is because I switch between the cover display and inner display when I use the device. And you see, the cover display has a resolution of 832 by 2268 pixels, and that's about 1.89 million pixels. And for the inner display, it comes with a whopping resolution of 1768 by 2208, which is about 3.9 million pixels. And that means the inner display have almost double the amount of pixels as the outer display. And that will heavily impact the battery life. And throughout my usage, I can confirm that that is indeed the case. So there was one day that I was only mostly using the cover display for most of the time, and at the end of that day, I got about 40% of battery left. And then for some other days where I use the inner display even more, I only have like 20-ish% battery left at the end of the day. So do you see the big difference here in terms of battery life and how using the cover display or the inner display will impact your battery life? And while on that subject, let's talk about using the inner display to watch shows and play games. And I absolutely love this big display. And what about that under display camera then? Well, I think it's quite a genius idea to use it for the inner display only because it doesn't abruptly have a black hole there, and now currently they still have some patches of color there, and the human mind can fill in the gaps and make the whole image as a whole. Of course, this comes with quite a sacrifice though in terms of the selfie camera quality. However, I don't see a problem since I only use the inner display's camera for things like Zoom, Google Meet, WebEx, all of those things. And the greatest thing is that Zoom and Google Meet works with the Galaxy Z Fold 3's flex mode, so I can just attend briefings and events while the phone is propped up like this. That saves a lot of space on my desk too, by the way. I can just chuck away the phone stand. Now I gotta mention also one more thing is the personal experience using the inner display when it's unfolded. Because this phone is now wide and the traditional 3-button layout, the navigational keys at the bottom here, is, well, I disabled it because I would like to see the full wallpaper since this screen is magnificent, massive and beautiful. So I tried using gesture navigation, which I immediately hated because it's slow and I had a lot of accidental triggers, especially from the sides. So then I proceeded to testing using the gesture navigation, but it's from the bottom. So far it's going okay. I don't really have much complaints yet, and the accidental navigation from the sides is obviously gone. But I don't know if I'll go back to the traditional 3-button navigational keys because I just like spamming the back button way too much compared to furiously swiping from the bottom. And as a side note, I know that a lot of people have been asking if the inner display is actually durable or not. So far, I don't have any issues, and I have been literally using this phone without babying it to the point where I always carry this phone like this, and then I'm always pressing it against my palm like this, down. Yeah, and so far the inner display is still doing well, although it does get dusty sometimes, and then I have to wipe all of the dust from one corner to the other corner, which is why you can see that at the bottom corner here, there's a lot of dust clumped up there. I have also seen a lot of people peeling off the inner display's included screen protector for a much better feel, and some of them even install third-party inner screen protectors. Wow, I applaud your courage for doing that. But so far, I would still say that I'm gonna stick with the stock screen protector first. It still works for me, so yeah, I'm not gonna change it. And back to the battery life for a while. I think it is mostly affected by the Snapdragon 888 chipset. I have to say, I do not like this chipset at all, because even though I don't play games on this phone at all, the chipset heats up way too much even though I'm just scrolling through Facebook, or even I'm just playing music on Spotify that I have already downloaded onto the phone locally. I don't know what the heck is going on. And I also use the Galaxy S21 Ultra with the Exynos 2100 chipset, and throughout my experience, this phone's chipset is a lot better than the Snapdragon 888. And then comes the cameras. I knew that going into the Galaxy Z Fold 3, I'm downgrading my camera since I was technically using one of the best camera systems available on a smartphone for the year 2021. But I realized that I did get a lot of user experience enhancements. For example, the Galaxy Z Fold 3, I can take pictures like this, and also taking pictures with a much bigger screen is something that I didn't know that I needed. Since the Galaxy Z Fold 3 can literally become its own tripod, I found myself taking a lot of pictures using the Pro Photography mode, so I can turn the ISO all the way to the minimum, adjust the shutter speed, hit the shutter button, and get the best picture possible out of this camera sensor. And of course, we need to talk about the cases available for the Galaxy Z Fold 3, particularly if we want to use it with the S Pen. Now, I won't go in detail about the S Pen Fold Edition because we already did a separate video on that. Check it out at the top right corner there. What I want to focus here is how we carry about the S Pen Fold Edition, because we reviewed like 3 cases in total that the Z Fold 3 can use to carry the S Pen around. Firstly is of course this case, the official Samsung case, and then the Arari Nukin 360p, and also the itskins hybrid solid case. I eventually went back to this original case because those other cases were returned for reasons. And currently I'm still finding a case that is more suitable to use with the Galaxy Z Fold 3 and also to carry the S Pen around. Also, a lot of people have been asking why don't this official case have a magnet? Well, it's because if there's a magnet nearby, then the S Pen's digitizer will not work. So currently the case I'm looking for is without any adhesives, provide hinge protection, and also proper S Pen slot. The Arari Nukin 360p actually fits those requirements like a glove, but I don't like that clear transparent plastic material. So I ordered yet another case that is, I wouldn't call it a one-to-one copy just yet without getting the case in my hands, but from the looks of it, it seems to be an inspiration from that design. So do stay tuned and subscribe to this channel because we also will have another video just for that case. And I also need a case for the Galaxy Z Fold 3 because number one, this is a very expensive phone and any slight damage will definitely break my heart, but not the phone, I hope. And also, while the Galaxy Z Fold 3 does look sexy without a case, I do feel it a bit slippery, so having a case to improve the grippiness will be preferred. And obviously the third point is that I need a case to hold the S Pen. So yeah, that's it. That's all of my experience with the Galaxy Z Fold 3 so far. It's been slightly more than 2 months. By the time this video is published, I would expect it's nearing 3 months, so I will give you any additional updates down in the description below. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next video.